We're good.
And we are live. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. Bienvenidos, señoras y señores. This is the 2025 NAIA Ball Awards Show. It is something special that we get to do every single year. It is going to be absolutely incredible to be able to go through this with y'all and break down all of our awards. Everybody from the final top 25 all the way down to naming our Lou Brock Player of the Year award recipient. It's going to be an absolute blast. So who do I have with me? Well, on the ones and twos, manning the controls, the man himself, Mr. Connor Darnell, the man who makes everything here run on the inside. Connor, of course, thank you for putting this on for us and producing this stream.
Absolutely, man. This is it's a blast to get to do something like this. I know we've always talked about doing some live stuff. You know, me and Taylor did a live game this year, so we did the watch along for the World Series, or I guess listen along. So it's always fun getting hop on here and do some live games. And you know, we're talking about some awards tonight, so I'm ready to get into it.
Absolutely. And of course, joining us as well is Mr. Tyler Norris. Tyler, man, thanks for joining us. How do people find you?
Absolutely. This is, one of my favorite things of the year. We get to all see each other live on camera. That's the best part, right? We don't really do that too often during the year. But if you're really interested in finding me on X, best way, TNOR46, that's my handle there. But no, super pumped. The year two of doing the live show here. I think it's going to be another good one.
I definitely think so. I think this is going to be great. We've got a lot to go over. We've got a guest appearance coming up. I want to kick things off, though, right now, right here, by starting it off with our final top 25 of the year. Connor, are we ready for that top 25?
Yes, it is on screen now.
Fantastic. So taking a look at the final top 25 of the season and just going from 25 on to 1. At number 25, we have Arizona Christian. Number 24 is going to be Johnson. 23 is Houston Victoria. 22 is Kansas Wesleyan. 21, Taylor. 20 is Ave Maria. 19, William Carey. 18, Concordia, Nebraska. 17, Missouri Baptist. 16, Oklahoma Wesleyan. 15, Mid-America Christian. 14, Indiana Southeast. 13 is Reinhardt. 12th is Grandview. 11th is Kaiser. Moving into the top 10, this is the way we have the top 10 broken down. At number 10 is Columbia. Number 9 is British Columbia. So you've got Columbia, Missouri, followed by number 9, British Columbia out of Canada. Number 8, Weber International. 7, Loyola. 6, the University of the Cumberlands, Kentucky. 5, Tennessee Wesleyan. 4 is going to be Hope International. 3 is Georgia Gwinnett. 2, Southeastern. And 1 is LSU Shreveport. Guys, this was a 7-person poll that we did all year long with entities not just from our own network, but from around college baseball as well. People who are continually watching NAIA baseball. I think this was one of the best of the year. Obviously, LSU Shreveport, if you did not know, got all 7 first place votes. But I definitely think that was a given there.
Yeah, no, it was a good year. Another good year for the poll. Obviously, our second year doing this, and I know when we launched this last year, we had big ideas in mind. And I mean, I think we're doing a great job here. Final top 25, you might see some discrepancies here, across the board as far as what the NAI had. But I feel like we got this one pretty spot on, I'd say. I feel like we were all consensus on the top 10. And then much similarly to all year long, kind of once you get into probably that 15 to 25 range, everyone's opinions are different, but we all have the same teams just kind of scattered throughout.
100%. With that 15, I feel like 1 through 15 this year was pretty simple in a lot of ways, especially in this last one. But number 16 through 25 is where it started to get really ugly and convoluted. I can tell you our polls did not look the same within our own organization. and those from outside of NAIA Ball did not look the same either. So there was a lot of discrepancies between 24th between spot 25 and spot 26 was 2 points, and between 26 and 27 was 1 point. All in all, a total of 29 different teams received votes in our poll. So that is the final top 25 of the year. And of course, the national champions in LSU Shreveport at 59-0. They take the number 1 spot as the national champions, and Southeastern, as the runner-up to the year, takes number 2. Guys, I believe we are ready for our Coach of the Year announcement. Connor, I think that this was one that had a lot, to really look over, but in the end, our choice was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, this one, we have a lot of first. There's some teams going to the World Series for the first time. Some other teams doing some incredible things, but I think it's pretty easy when it comes down to it, and I don't think anybody should be surprised when this comes out. So
we did not make our list of finalists public this season, but we're going to make it public to you, something we don't often do with some of these awards. Our finalists for the Coach of the Year award include, from Southeastern, Gabe Grinder; from Grandview, Doug Brinker; from LSU Shreveport, Brad Neffendorf; and then from Loyola University in New Orleans, Jeremy Kennedy. Tyler, this is a great group of coaches. You've got guys who made their first trip to Lewiston, guys who played for national championships in their first year, a guy who took a team that was undefeated, and a guy who took 3 different teams in history in the NAI to the World Series, and really took Loyola to their first one. I mean, this is a stacked group of coaches right here, and really personifies some of the great coaches we have at this level.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is a great group of coaches right here. I mean, talk about some of the best in the nation, right? They did it all year long. Like you said, Jeremy Kennedy leading his 3rd different team to Lewiston. That's an amazing accomplishment. Coach Grinder in his first year back in the NAI with a lot of questions to be answered, as we talked about all year long, taking over the helm at Southeastern for Coach Dinkle there. He had one hell of a year for the Fire there. I know we were all kind of wondering how that season was going to shape up, and man, I think he delivered in year 1 in that new regime. Coach Brinker, obviously, going into a tough opening round and, battling all the way through up against elimination the whole way. Talk about the resilience that team had, and you got to think it starts at the top with him. And then Coach Neffendorf, I mean, what more can we say that we haven't said all year long? A perfect season, something that, is often thought of as impossible, quite literally, in the world of baseball. I mean, you can't say enough about this guy and what he was able to do with that Pilots team. The amount of times that they were down this year, too, heading into late innings, and the resilience of that squad to come back and pull out those tough victories, I mean, really shows that they have the right guy at the helm in Shreveport.
Well said. And with that, we will introduce our winner of the 2025 NAIA Ball Coach of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Brad Neffendorf, the head baseball coach at LSU Shreveport. And joining us now here in this episode and award show is none other than the man himself. It is going to be the head baseball coach over at LSU Shreveport. It is Mr. Brad Neffendorf joining us now. Brad, welcome on in. We're excited to have you and really thankful that you could join us here.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I'll get us kicked off with things. I feel like you've done 8 billion of these already. So, I don't want to ask you about what you thought of the season or how special it was. Highlight some of the guys who made this happen on your team. I mean, I know that there's plenty of players that deserve to be mentioned that might not be regulars that really push the buttons for y'all.
I mean, obviously the guys that have been recognized, All-Americans, all-tournament team. I think some of the guys that get overlooked a little bit is a guy like Ian Monts that, we knew he had a chance for some loud offense. He's really defensive for us in center field, and he had a really good career at Pearl River where he won a national title. He had some really big hits in moments for us that kind of put us, I won't say in a seal the deal position in the regional final game. That home run to make the 3-run home run to make it 5-0, and then the go ahead home run late in the game against Southeastern there, and he took off the last half, and that's ultimately that's what you want. You want these guys to kind of get where they're supposed to be late in the year. But he was a guy that that really did some things for us, that had a really good fall and then struggled early for us and kind of in and out of the lineup. So I mean that's a big. And then Ryan Davenport, Ryan doesn't get enough credit for who he is, and like I've told him every year, and we went over it again after we were done. Like, Ryan, you're not a guy that's designed to start for us. And Ryan has found a way to come in there and start for us, kind of 2.5 years and hit over 400 the entire year at the top of the order. So those two in particular were huge for us.
I definitely think so. I mean, I got to talk with Ryan before the series started as part of our Baseball America World Series preview article, and just came away really impressed with him, and really what just talking about the team and what it meant to be part of this team. I thought that was incredible. You had a really great run to the year. The resiliency, I think, the no fear of adversity was probably my favorite thing. You were down multiple points in the World Series. You've been down multiple points in the year. This isn't like y'all came into the season and just blew everybody out. I mean, there were games where we're watching and we're thinking, okay, is this it? Does it end here? Does it run in here? Talk a little bit about overcoming adversity on this club.
Well, obviously we experienced a little bit more of that early on in the year, twice with my brother's team at IU Southeast that jumped out, I think 5 or 6 to 1 in the first game that we played, and we came back and beat them 11-5 or 12-5. And then the very next day they come out and I think we're an out away from winning the game, and the middle of their order, the Martinez kid hit one down the line and cleared the bases. We had to come back, and we had some games. You throw in there Louisiana Christian. The game against Tabor is probably the most dominant one for somebody against us. They led the whole entire game, and we came back there at the end. No, we just had a group that they showed a lot of that in the fall. The fall wasn't exactly pretty; it was ugly, but it was just guys going hard and trying to learn a system with some new guys that came in, and returns. They're trying to show them that. So, we're used to playing hard, and we had so many returners that had been in those moments before with the last 2 years teams, and I don't know how they went about it. We tell them the locker room is what they have all the time. That's kind of their deal, and where the team is made and kind of forms as one unit, which we talked about all the time. So I will tell you that guys like Ryan Davenport, and Diego Aragon, and some of these guys are a little bit more vocal as returners. Did an incredible job of, DJ Walker, a guy that doesn't get enough credit. He had a really good year after being injured all last year, and found a way to mature in some areas that he needed to, and he became a big voice this year. So I think those guys that had the voice were a big reason why, and they kept that voice going during games on the field. And I don't know, we just they what they were like to begin the year, the first game of the year, they maintained that throughout the entire year, and I couldn't give you a rhyme or reason how they managed to do that and manage the distraction and manage the noise in a very distractive world, especially at their age. They did an incredible job of managing it and keeping us where we're supposed to be.
Tyler, what do you have for Brad?
Coach, something you just said hit on, managing the noise. Obviously, you probably heard a lot of it as we got down the back half of the season. What was kind of the mindset for the team, for yourself, going into these, last couple of games of the year where this is obviously a big talk across NAIA baseball? How is that team able to manage that and manage those distractions as well, and just go out there and perform like you guys did all year long?
I think they treated it the way that they did a month prior to that, when we had gone 38 games, and then it was 41, and then we finished the regular season 47-0, and they just stayed consistent in a mindset and a focus of wanting to get to a national title game and wanting a chance to win it. They knew that's the two last boxes that this program has not checked in regards to. We've been to a certain amount of opening rounds. We've had drafts. We've had free agents. We've won the regular season. I mean, every box that you could check has been checked, but there's two that hadn't been checked, and it was playing in a national title game and winning it. And they just did an unbelievable job of just staying, in routine with who they were as a team. The same approach when they walked in the park and they left the park. They never talked about any of it. Obviously, they were, ecstatic when they went 3-0, and then we went 4-0 by beating, a very, very, very good Hope team again, and they knew that they were in. So they just did a really good job of developing an in-house routine as players, um, was staying just consistent with how they approached everything that they did. And I couldn't really tell you how they did that. I just watched and observed, and it was very consistent with who they were and what they were doing. And I stayed out of it because I'm not, my job is to stay the heck out of the way, when something's working the way it was supposed to. And look, I said what I needed to say at times, which wasn't much. I just got the heck out of the way.
Well, you know what? I mean, as much as sometimes you want to get the heck out of the way, you're still a big part of the program. Want to congratulate you on being named the NAIA Ball Coach of the Year. I know it's probably the biggest award you'll win all season long. But,
It's fun. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I got something before we move
absolutely.
on, Robbie.
Yeah. Go ahead, Connor.
So, Brad, I got to live like a rock star for the couple days when you put me up at the Horseshoe and, there in Shreveport. But, talk about how everything's been after the World Series, like, getting invited to the White House, having the parade. You guys got to live like rock stars for a couple days, and I'm sure it's been crazy.
Yeah, and I'd say, crazy is a good word. It's just been, consistently, I don't know, people keeping their foot on the gas pedal for you in regards to, things like this and interviews and radio and TV and everything. But you know what? Like I told somebody today, is as much as it is, I'm all for it because these guys need to continue to keep getting the recognition that they've earned, because what they've done, it's. I almost feel like the 59-0, it takes you away from understanding that they won a national title, because the 59-0 is so incredible to do. But no, it's, we're down to about 9 players left in town, and yesterday we went to the state capitol, and that was great. It was good for them. A lot of big important people that you get in that room with them. On the House side, then the Senate side, and everybody, all the main big wigs at LSU. It's kind of an intimidating room for the guys to be in, and the rest of us. So, it's been really good. But I think the really good thing about it, and what makes it so special is, it's just stuff these guys are always going to remember, and they're getting every bit of recognition that they deserve.
Before we let you go, I want you to be part of this next award as we name our assistant coach of the year. And ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 NAIA Ball assistant coach of the year is going to go to Jordan Schwellenbach from LSU Shreveport. Tell me a little bit about, Schwelly and why he makes this program tick.
How much time do I have?
Yeah.
No, I think you could get Nate Breland on here. Obviously didn't want to see him go, and they've got an incredibly good relationship. And the thing about Jordan that makes him so special is as invested as he is here, he's, which I can understand when you get away from another program that you had success in, you're still connected to it a little bit and you want to see him be successful. And, he was really dived in with Central this year, and it was obviously, I wouldn't say tough, but obviously different for him. And they came and played us, and that first game was close, and getting a chance to, be on the field with Nate, but it wasn't in the same dugout. Jordan he has done an unbelievable job and has impacted this program in such a short amount of time that I don't know if anybody can replicate that. His personality is off the charts. The guys love him. He brings a different energy that a lot can't do. It's hard to get him mad, but when you do get him mad or you do get him upset, there's a different face that he gives, and it's that guy's unbelievable. Him, his family. He just had a baby girl. So with everything going on, he's raising her, and here with his wife Nikki, and I know our guys love him. They respect him. He's an unbelievable. He's not an assistant, man. I mean that guy. And Steve Jones this year. Those are, and I've said it all year long. They're head coaches that are cut loose to make head coaching decisions. It's just like Jordan last week. We get back, and I had told him, like, we're not doing uniforms. We're not doing laundry. We'll take that crap to the dry cleaners. It's different dirt, Lewiston. We do it every time. Let them clean it. Well, I come back in the next day and, hey man, you get this stuff over to the dry cleaners? They're like, no, I already soaked them and I scrubbed them. I go, what are you doing? Like, get it over. Like, but that's just who he is. He's a guy that takes an unbelievable, amount of initiative on everything we're doing. He's made the lives of everybody around here so much easier. This has probably been, in a long time, the easiest feel for me on a daily basis. And I can't tell you how much he means to this program. And the last thing, and I'll tell you, that guy uh, has obviously been around a lot of success. But you look at him at Central Methodist, they make the national title game in 2021, and his first year here, we make a national title game and we win it. So I think there's a lot of credit that needs to be given to him that maybe isn't, about how much he has impacted us. And if we didn't have him, no, we wouldn't be even on this phone call right now. He's a lot of the glue, if not all of it, to how this thing is operated. And it's probably gonna be a position where we got to fight to keep him here at some point, because there's somebody out there that they need to be knocking down on his door as a head guy. But he's extremely loyal, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate having him here.
It's a family of NAI ball legends, minus the one that's in the big leagues. But it is a family of NAI ball legends, and he is personified that.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a no-brainer for us this year to choose this, and it was actually in this group's idea, right? Like literally, this was decided the next day. Y'all win the national championship. This award was decided the next day.
Awesome.
And it was actually the first award we decided. And so I don't think that there was any doubt in our mind that knowing what he means, because we've seen what he's done with in the past and all of that. So, congratulations to Coach Schwellenbach, and Brad, congratulations to you. I want to thank you for, taking time out. We know, we know you're busy. We know that they've got y'all running all over the place right now, and just thank you for taking time out of your day and jumping in with us.
No, thank you guys for everything that you do, and the recognition and everything. It's obviously been an incredible year, but you guys make it, you guys put it over the top. And I know everybody, you may not hear it enough, but you guys have taken this level to just, it's not even word level. You guys have just elevated it like there's no tomorrow. So thank you guys for everything you do, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad. We appreciate you taking some time out. Ladies and gentlemen, Brad Neffendorf, the 2025 NAI Ball Coach of the Year, and then, of course, Jordan Schwellenbach, the 2025 NAI Ball Assistant Coach of the Year. First time in history we've had a head coach as well as the assistant coach come from the same program. This is normally an award that are given to two different people, two different places, two different players. And, I definitely think that this was incredible. So, Brad, again, thank you for your time as we get ready to continue on with the award show and go from there. Connor Taylor, Connor and Tyler. Taylor wishes he could be here with us right now. Any quick thoughts on Shreveport this year and what that coaching staff was able to do?
Yeah, I can start. I mean, what a ride it was. I mean, I remember watching that game, Brad, in at the Cajun against Tabor, and we were like, wow, like, is this really going to happen? I mean, that was probably one of my favorite games to watch all year long. So it was really cool to see how you guys continued the rest of the season. I mean, it was truly amazing to watch. And, I'm glad that, like you said, you guys are getting the recognition you deserve. Obviously, we all know this level of baseball does not get the love it deserves. So very happy to see you guys are getting recognized, not only across the entire NAI, but at the national level as well. It's much deserved, and just a huge congratulations. And thanks for not forgetting about the little people, because I'm sure you got some big names in your phone nowadays.
Nah, you guys have done more than everybody else has. We appreciate it.
Yeah, this is it's been an incredible year, and you say thank you to us, but thank you to you guys, because you guys have put this thing also to another level. And I don't think we've done numbers like this before in our entire, well, I guess the time I've been doing it. So I mean,
I know you got to meet him, but I was DMing with Tim Brando. Okay, like I know you got to meet him, but I was DMing with him. All right, I was.
Get that on record.
That was incredible.
Nah, he's. I didn't know he was going to be there. And when we're up there on stage and talking, I kind of looked down when I got up there, looked down to my right, and man, he might have been the most emotional, proud person there. And one thing that people probably don't understand is one of his best friends started this program a long time ago and passed away this last year. Doug Robertson. He was the AD. He was the head coach. He started this program. So I know it's and there's some alumni there that want to come back, which obviously, as I said, this is an alumni national title because it's been years in the making. That just happened to be this year. And it was great to have him there, and he'd been kind of praising the thing for quite a while. So it was good.
Fantastic, man. Well, thank you again. And we can't thank you enough for your time. As we move on here to two-way player of the year, our two-way player of the year had several candidates. It really came down to two guys. Two different players received votes for this. But Connor, we're ready to announce our two-way player of the year is going to be Trey Tarver from Arizona Christian. He hit 382 this year with 78 hits, 15 doubles, 17 home runs, 35 extra base hits, 79 RBIs, had 59 innings pitched on the mound, went 5-3 with a 4.88 ERA, 86 strikeouts to 31 walks. Trey Tarver from Arizona Christian is the two-way player of the year.
Yeah, big congratulations to Trey. I mean, another familiar name to the program for those of you who listen on a regular basis. This is a guy that me and Taylor talk about frequently, even dating back to last year. I mean, this guy gets it done efficiently and effectively at the plate and on the mound. I mean, I remember, some of the biggest games Arizona Christian played in this year. I believe one of them, I think Hope International comes to mind. And, we were debating, is Arizona Christian going to take this series off the back of Trey Tarver? I mean, this guy has been such a mainstay, not only in that lineup, but in that rotation as well. When I think of Arizona Christian baseball, Trey Tarver is one of the guys that comes to mind first.
I definitely think he's a name that you have to recognize nationally. He's a guy that does it all, both on the offensive side and on the mound. I think it's really, really special what he's been able to do and what he does this season and what he's been able to do this year for Arizona Christian. So that is our two-way player of the year. And, just an incredible feat for him to do that. Connor, is this the first time we've given out two-way player of the year? Did we do this last year?
I think this is the first time. I mean, we've got 2 new awards this year, so this is one of them. So pretty cool cool to see this building, and we're just expanding.
Two-way player of the year is Trey Tarver. With that, we will move on to our freshman of the year. And freshman of the year always takes a lot of digging, a lot of homework. I feel like we get more nominations for freshman of the year than anywhere or any other award. This one was a clean sweep after a lot of, we reached out to the program. We talked to a bunch of different people, but it is going to be JP Pinella from Southeastern University in Lakeland, Florida. Pinella hit 418 this year, 97 hits, 51 RBIs, and 24 stolen bases. JP Pinella is the freshman of the year, and this is certainly an award, guys, that I think he earned. There were about a couple other players that we really, really took a hard look at, and JP Pinella was the guy here, and he had a great World Series as well.
Yeah, JP was a guy, I just remember, firing off every Southeastern final on the year. You look into that box score, JP was always a name that stuck out, whether it be on the base paths or, multi-hit games. He was always a name that really jumped off the page there. And as you just mentioned, Robbie, a great performance in the World Series. And, coming into a program, I've already said it, I think twice on this show already, coming into a program with a lot of questions to be answered as a freshman and putting up those numbers under a brand new head coach there of the program. That really speaks volumes to me. A very historic program there. And for him to come in and do what he did as a freshman, very deserving here.
100%. I think it's incredible what he was able to do this season. And we went back and forth on it a little bit. It ended up being a clean sweep. I will say, SIDs, please do not turn over your rosters as soon as the season
Please do not.
Please do not do that. Please wait for our award show, because he was nominated like 12 times, and we had to reach out to the program and to Gabe to make sure that these nominations were correct. So
way more research went into this than it should have.
There was a lot of hours up until today to make sure that we had this one correct. So yeah, uh, maybe we can hold off maybe an extra week on turning rosters over on websites, because then it automatically turns them over on Presto as well. So congratulations to JP Pinella on being the NAI Ball Freshman of the Year. We move on to Relief Pitcher of the Year. Connor, really quickly, did we put out the finalists for this?
I don't think we did. I think we just did pitcher and Lou Brock Player of the Year finalist.
Fantastic. I will tell you who the players in consideration for this were, and I'm not going to apologize for getting some of these names wrong unless I do. Finalists for this award, Relief Pitcher of the Year, include Ritter Steinman from Kansas Wesleyan, Brett Allen from Reinhardt, Cole Jones from Southeastern. Help me out with this one. Jackson Hohense
Sounds
from
good to me.
Arizona Christian, and then Noah Palmise.
Again, I think that sounds good to me, so let's roll with it. I'm sure if
Fantastic.
we got them wrong, somebody's gonna comment in the comments or shoot us a message on Twitter or something.
We heard it at the World Series enough. I feel like I should have known that one. But I want to congratulate the winner of the 2025 NAI Ball Relief Pitcher of the Year award. It was a very close race. We ended up being all aligned on it, but it is going to be Noah from Weber International wins the award with a 2.78 ERA in 25 appearances. He went 3-0, had 13 saves, 45 and a third innings pitched, gave up 30 hits, 14 earned runs, just only 10 walks on the season with 65 punch outs. It's a 12.9 K per 9, a whip below 1 of 0.88. Opponents hit just 182 off of him. He only averaged 2.98 hit per 9, and he had an FIP, fielding independent pitching percentage, of 3.9. This is a guy that was electric and great for the Warriors all year long. Thoughts on Noah winning Relief Pitcher of the Year?
Yeah, I mean, talk about dominance all year long. I mean, obviously another name in that Weber International pitching staff we've talked about all year long is Blaine Huter, but you can't forget Noah Palmise with this one as well. I mean, it seemed like in every instance that Weber needed big innings out of their bullpen, Noah was the guy they turned to, and he would get it done. I know Connor can give us his thoughts too, because he got to see him live in his favorite state of Nebraska at the opening round. But I mean, just talk about a guy who was dominant all year long, seemingly unhittable at times. Just a great arm, and nobody more deserving, in my opinion, this year for reliever of the year.
You know, I can speak to this as a closer, because I was a closer whenever I played. You know, going into lockdown a game, you know, when you get handed the ball, it's your time to go, and you know, he just went out there every time and showed that he was capable of doing it. I mean, 3-0, you know, you get in there, snipe some wins, and then you pick up 13 saves on the year. It's no accident. So, you know, they turn the ball over to him, and you know, it's lights out. He closes the door and gets the job done. So, you know, Norris, you can speak from this from the perspective of a starting pitcher. You know, when you get taken out of the game, you know, you want somebody to come in and lock it down and save that win for you. So, how big is it to have, you know, that key piece coming in behind you?
Don't get me started, because I have a handful of guys I could list off that would, you know, conveniently let the game get tied and then steal the win from me.
I feel like I just opened a can of worms, so my bad.
But at the same time, no, like as a starter, you know, you're obviously not going to go the full 9 or the 7 every time you're out there. So you want to have a strong bullpen. So, you know, you think about Noah coming out right behind Blaine Huter in some instances this year. I mean, talk about, I know we've talked about Shreveport's pitching staff all year long, but talk about a 1-2 punch that is in a game. I mean, that's a formula to win if I've ever seen one. But no, like as a starting pitcher, having a lockdown arm in the bullpen is huge. And it obviously played a big part in Weber's success this year in the late innings.
So congratulations to him on that, the Relief Pitcher of the Year. Up next, we've got a new award to add. Connor said we had 2. This is the second. It is the Cody Butler Award. Cody, the founder of NAI Ball, one of my best friends in the world, a friend to all of us here, and the whole reason we have NAI Ball is the person who started all of this. Cody personifies NAIA ball and what we are and what this platform and outlet is. The whole reason we are where we are is because of Cody and what he started and brought to the table. He was a social media genius. He made all of this work. The things that we struggle to do on a regular basis, he did it by himself and was perfect at it. Knew when to record, knew when a big play was going to happen, almost like a sixth sense, and just made it happen and was wildly incredible at it. So the Cody Butler Award is going to go not just to an individual, but to an athletic department who personifies all aspects: article writing, broadcast, Instagram, and X. I was going to call it Twitter. It's still X. I will say that Cody had just an incredible love for baseball at this level that started with Georgia Gwinnett. And Georgia Gwinnett does an incredible job at this year in, year out. And they do a great job with us. They have Cody Butler on their media passes. They remember him every time they're in Lewiston. And on top of that, they definitely, have just honor him every time in a Cody Butler day. So as much as we'd like to just straight out give this award to GGC, we're going to hold off on that. And Connor, I think that's only fair that we just don't give it to GGC every year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. I feel like it's only fair to not do that. But I mean, they know where we stand with them, and
exactly.
We know we appreciate everything they do, and they're top notch at what they do, and between Matt, Dale, and Kyle, I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple people, but they do a great job, and they're one of the best in the country. So it's only fair to hold off on that, but yeah, I completely agree.
So with that, I will name you this season's finalists for the Cody Butler Award. The University of Houston at Victoria. We're going to use the old name. I'm sorry, UHV. Reinhardt, Midland, Nebraska, Freed Hardeman, and Cumberland's, Kentucky. The first ever recipient of the Cody Butler Award goes to Cumberland's, Kentucky is the winner of the Cody Butler Award. I think that they do an incredible job as far as, the content that they put out. The broadcast that they have is incredible as well. Just overall, I think that, everything they put on X, recaps, Instagram, I think it really was a tough choice. And I can tell you right now, Midland might surprise some people, but they hold a lot of weight with us because they are one of the few programs nationally that are putting out their projected starters, which is something we absolutely love. So this was an incredible award to determine. It was actually the last one we decided on, but Cumberland's, Kentucky is going to win this award. Connor, I'll let you say something quickly about Cumberland's, Kentucky and why they're the winner of the Cody Butler Award.
Yeah, so I mean, overall, they put out tweet updates throughout the season. They do fun little stat graphics. Say somebody hits their 150, 100th home run, or just different milestones like that, and those little things go a long ways with players. Back whenever I was playing, I was the one to make that, so I wasn't able to get that out, and I didn't have the access to that information. So, I mean, just the staff that they have over there is just incredible. The broadcast is top notch. Probably I'd put it in my top 5 in the league. So, I mean, you get to see exit velos and pitch velos on the screen. So that's pretty cool, and that's a pretty cool addition to it. But overall, I mean, they go all out for their athletes and give them the best experience. And overall, I think they're very well deserved of this award, and overall, just awesome content. I know this was super hard because I look at Instagram every single day. I look on Twitter, or I guess X. I'll still call it Twitter till the day I die. But I just see different content throughout the country, and this is one that deserves some recognition, and they do a hell of a job doing this stuff for their athletes, and well deserved, I should say.
I have to agree. Tyler, anything really quickly before we move into All-NAIA Ball?
I was mainly going to let you guys handle that one because I never had the pleasure of unfortunately meeting Cody Butler. But I mean, just to piggyback off of what you guys said, Cumberland's does an awesome job all year long, highlighting their players, milestones, achievements. Connor mentioned the broadcast. I mean, like Connor said, they're one of my favorite broadcasts to tune into. Just an all-around outstanding job by that team there and that program. And I mean, like you said, it was a hard decision, but I think there's no better recipient for the first ever Cody Butler Award than the Patriots of Cumberland.
I hope they realize how big of an honor this is, because I mean, this is huge. So congratulations to everybody over at Cumberland's and their sports information department and all their GAs. I know they work hard. I talk to them every so often, so huge congratulations to them.
Absolutely. That is the Cody Butler Award, and a huge thanks to Mickey and Melissa who allowed us to do this. I pitched them the idea for the award back in October when I was in Atlanta for work. We went out to dinner. They loved it. And, I gave them a call a few weeks ago to give them a life update. And, they were definitely thankful that we continue to honor Cody. And there's no NAIA ball without him. It's a no-brainer, and we love him, and I miss him every day, every single day. So we will go into – he wouldn't want me to talk about him anymore. We will go into –
You know how much he would have hated that?
Oh, yeah. He would have hated it. All-NAIA Ball, second team. We start out with All-NAIA Ball, second team. Guys, this is one of the toughest things we do every year is putting together All-NAIA Ball. I feel like of the 8 starting pitcher spots, 7 were really easy. We had many debates on number 8 as well. 3 of the reliever spots, of the 4 reliever spots, were really easy. Number 4 was not easy. There are multiple positions on here that were not simplified for us, and we definitely spend 5+ days digging through box scores and digging through positions and finding guys a little bit outside of the box that maybe weren't on the national side of things or didn't receive the national attention. So with that, we go into our All-NAIA Ball. Second team looks like this. Starting pitchers include Kylan Hampson, University of the Cumberlands, Kentucky. Starting pitcher Aaron Robertson, Southeastern University. Starting pitcher Andrew Herbert, Reinhardt. And starting pitcher Kobe Reeves, LSU Shreveport. Jackson Hohense from Arizona Christian will be a reliever, and Brett Allen from Reinhardt will be a reliever. The catcher from Southeastern will be Connor Hicks. At first base from Tennessee Wesleyan is Corbin Shaw. At second base from LSU Shreveport is Vantrell Reed. At third base from Tennessee Wesleyan is Josh Shelley. At shortstop from Northwest Ohio is Eliomar Otero. The utility player is Felix Polanco from Wayland Baptist. The outfield includes John Ponder from Georgia Gwinnett, as well as Samuel Fabian from Wayland Baptist, Caleb Kolpian from Taylor, Simon Grinberg from Kaiser, and Ian Heck from York. The designated hitter is Tyler Horner from Oregon Tech. Guys, this is a loaded second team, and it was not easy to put together.
I was just about to say the same thing. I mean, you start with the pitchers, you look at all these names here, and you could very well have strong cases for all of these guys being first teamers, but I think that just goes to show you the level of pitching that we had all year long across the board. And as a former pitcher, you love to see that. I mean, just the sheer talent we saw across the board this year was awesome. But I mean, like you said at the top, Robbie, this was tough. Like you said, there were about 4 pitchers, and then for the most part, we were all in agreement with a lot of these positions. But then you get to some positions, there's about 3 or 4 or even 5 guys that could be deserving. So I mean, this was definitely a tough selection, but I think looking at it all as a whole put together now, I think this is a very strong NAIA ball second team.
It is I think, an incredible team. It was not easy to put together. It was not easy to decide on. It was not something that was taken lightly. The hard part is that with these All-NAIA Ball teams, is you want to include everybody. You want to include, man, this guy was really good, or this guy left it out all on the field. You want to include everybody, and you just can't, and that's the hard part. And so we put together this team, and I think it's an incredible team. Connor, any thoughts on the second team before we move on to the first team?
I mean, this is just, an elite list. I know we're only going to get, even more elite with the first team, but, these players, they had incredible years, and some of them have had even incredible careers. So, tip of the cap to them. You're pretty special when you make All-NAIA Ball. You become part of the NAIA Ball family in a sense. And I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but you said you get special perks when you make All-NAIA Ball. I don't necessarily know what those perks are, but you get to be part of something that's pretty special. So, tip of the cap to these guys, and congratulations on All-NAIA Ball second team. And before anybody roasts me, yes, there is an extra S on Southeastern. I will fix it before we post it. It's been quite the day, so cut me a break on that. So, congrats to everybody.
There is our second team, and with that, we are ready to move on to the first team and go over first team All-NAIA Ball. Connor, you ready for this one?
Yep, it's up right now.
Awesome. First team All-NAIA Ball is going to look like this. Starting pitcher Isaac Rohde from LSU Shreveport. Starting pitcher Draven Ziegler from LSU Shreveport. Starting pitcher Trey Seeley from Hope International. Starting pitcher Blaine Hooter from Weber International. Noah Palmise from Weber International is the first reliever, and Cole Jones from Southeastern is the second reliever. At catcher is Charlie Muniz from the University of the Cumberlands, Kentucky. The first baseman out of Talladega is Miguel Oropeza. The second baseman from Georgia Gwinnett is Braxton McGuire. The third baseman from LSU Shreveport is Josh Gibson. The shortstop from Southeastern is Alfonso Villalobos. The utility player from Columbia is Braden McGinnis. In the outfield, we have outfielder Colton Reynolds. Also in the outfield, from Oklahoma Wesleyan, we have Rayvon Morgan. From the outfield in Missouri Baptist, we have James Jett. In the outfield from LCSC, we have Charlie Updegrave, and the designated hitter is Daniel Stewart. Stewart, the DH. Guys, there are some names on here that just missed preseason All-NAIA Ball, and I go immediately to Morgan, because that's a guy that just probably, if John Ponder doesn't come back, he's on the list. John Ponder came back this year, and we threw him on there because we always try to have a wild card on there. And sure enough, John Ponder is All-NAIA Ball. But Morgan out of Oklahoma Wesleyan had an incredible year and becomes first team this season. And then you have some obvious additions on there: Josh Gibson, Alfonso Villalobos, Miguel Oropeza, Charlie Muniz, Rohde, Ziegler, Seeley, Hooter. I mean, if this was a team, this is a monster of a team.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the best of the best right here. I mean, potentially another undefeated team right here, as Robbie said, if you put them all together on one squad. But just the cream of the crop here. I mean, guys that were just dominant all year long for their respective programs and their various positions. The one that really jumps out to me, I've loved watching him in his career at Talladega, is Miguel Oropeza, the first baseman there. I mean, talk about this guy hits for average, hits for power, and he can hit against competition. I mean, we saw him in that Gwinnett opening round, and I mean, he lit it up. I mean, this is a guy that, I loved watching. The Tornadoes, still probably my favorite logo in the NAI. No bias there, of course. But just talk about, guys, Rhodey, Draven Ziegler, Trey Seeley, a guy like all three of those guys, and Blaine Huter, guys we mentioned just about every week on the podcast, Taylor and I mean, when I think first team All-NAIA Ball, I mean, I couldn't have crafted this team better. I know I didn't single-handedly put it together, but I don't think I could have put this team together better myself.
It's a solid ball club. It's a solid ball club. There are some really good ball players on this list. I just overall, I mean, the starting pitching staff on its own, anytime you can get Isaac and Draven and Trey and Blaine, I mean, we got to see all of them in the World Series, and they're dudes for a reason, and just overall, top to bottom, I think this is one of the most incredible things that we have. So, Connor, really quick final thoughts on NAIA Ball first team. I know we're not done making some small changes overall to the graphic, but just thoughts on this.
Like I said before, this on second team, just an elite list. They're on here for a reason. Pretty cool to see Draven Ziegler on here. Obviously, he showed out, and we expected him to be on here. But, I first met Draven when he was a red shirt at Shreveport when I went down there in 22, I think. And he was doing field duty. So it's kind of cool to see him, go from doing field duty to being on first team All-NAIA Ball and just having the year that he had. So, elite list. Charlie Up to Grave, I've had a few conversations with him. That dude hits the ball pretty far. I've seen it in person. He put it on top of those tennis courts out in right field. But yeah, this is just an insane list. I'd love to see All-NAIA Ball first team versus All-NAIA Ball second team. If we have some big sponsor that's willing to fly all these people out to one location, feel free to hit our email, because I'm definitely interested in that, and this would make for quite the game. But no, overall this is awesome, and I think this is great for them, and big congratulations to everybody who made this. Like I said, you get special perks for being on All-NAIA Ball. We just can't tell you what they are. You'll have to figure it out yourself. So congrats to these guys.
The gold card gets you in any game you want. Congratulations to our All-NAIA Ball teams this season. We're definitely excited for y'all and thrilled to have y'all along. Connor, you ready for Pitcher of the Year?
Let's do it.
Fantastic. Let's go over our 6 finalists, including Isaac Rhodey, Draven Ziegler, Trey Seeley, Blaine Huter, Kylan Hampson, and Aaron Robertson from LSU Shreveport for Rhodey and Ziegler, Hope International for Seeley, as well as Weber International for Blaine Huter, University of Cumberland's in Kentucky for Hampson, and Southeastern in Lakeland, Florida for Aaron Robertson. With that, the 2025 NAIA Ball Pitcher of the Year is Isaac Rhodey from LSU Shreveport. What an incredible year he had, going 16-0 in 120 innings pitched, an ERA of 2.09, allowed 79 hits in 120 and a third innings for a whip of .75. 28 earned runs, just 11 walks, with 146 strikeouts this year. Opponent batting average of 183, a hit per 9 of 2.95, and a FIP of 3.44. Guys, these finalists are incredible. But every time Isaac took the mound, you just felt that presence.
Yeah, every time Rhodey was out there on the mound, I mean, it was dominance in every sense of the matter. Watching him on every start, it was, the same thing, just complete dominance 1 through 9 of the opposing lineup. And I mean, it was really only fitting for him to get that final out in the World Series after the dominant year that he had. This is a guy who, just never really seemed to have a bad day. And, as a starting pitcher, you're going to have your bad days. But for Rhodey, He never really had one of those. So, I mean, talk about just a great year out of him. And obviously a great year for the Pilots. But for Rhodey to go out and win the Pitcher of the Year for them, I mean, that's big. And just, I mean, we've said it. I think it's a guy we talked about all year long, guy we talked about last year as well. Just probably one of the best pitchers this level has to offer, and he really showed it this year.
For real. He was incredible. He was incredible. What a year it was for him. And really just getting out there. This pitching, the pitching we've seen at this level has just evolved into something bigger and better and just absolutely incredible. And I think that just overall pitching at this level has just taken a fully different meaning. Really, really great stuff. Really, really incredible. Congratulations to Isaac on that. Connor, a few thoughts on Isaac winning this award.
Yeah, I love this. I spoke on it when we were doing our World Series watch along. It was awesome to see Isaac Rhodey pitch in the World Series after coming over from Clark back in, I can't remember what year, but the few years that he's had at Shreveport, just been absolutely dominant. They've fallen short a couple times getting to the World Series, but he went and did his thing this year and just had a career year. I mean, these numbers are absolutely insane. I'd love to compare him to our previous winners of Pitcher of the Year and just see how they stack up. But, super happy for Rhodey on this. And I do believe I spelled his name right on the graphic. If not, Brad's sure going to text me and let me know. Thanks, Brad. But yeah, this is awesome. Huge congrats to Rhodey. I know he's a huge fan of the brand, and he's been here since his first year in the NAI and has been such a big supporter. So love this for Rhodey, and just overall a great dude to receive this award. So super happy for him.
Right, that is our Pitcher of the Year. We ready to talk about our Lou Brock Player of the Year award?
Yes.
Awesome. Fantastic. The Lou Brock Player of the Year award. We had finalists for this. I don't remember how many finalists we made public, but essentially there was a group of about 15 players that we had to trim down. Connor, was it 5 that we had there?
I think we did 5 this year.
Okay, so the 5 finalists for the Lou Brock Player of the Year award, and I'll give you the 5 finalists before I'll tell you the significance of the Lou Brock Player of the Year award, are going to be as follows. Braden McGinnis from Columbia, Alex Harrell from Georgia Gwinnett, Daniel Stewart from Tennessee Wesleyan, Miguel Oropeza from Talladega, and Charlie Muniz from the University of the Cumberlands in Kentucky. In our Lou Brock Player of the Year award, we wanted to honor somebody. Cody and I wanted to honor a player from the NAI ranks that made an impact at this level. And we decided on Lou Brock. Lou Brock hit over 550 en route to helping Southern University win an NAI baseball national championship in the 50s. He was instrumental in that season. It is the only HBCU to ever win a national title at any level in baseball. And overall, it was just the most incredible thing. How this award came to be was literally, I wrote an email to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and the Baseball Hall of Fame called me about a month later and put me in contact with Lou Brock's widow. We had conversations with her about the point of the award, what the purpose was, and just how we could continue to highlight the Lou and Jackie Brock Foundation. And this has been a partnership that we have had for a multitude of years now. So with that, I want to thank again the Lou and Jackie Brock Foundation for presenting the Lou Brock Player of the Year award. Once again, those finalists are Alex Harrell from Georgia Gwinnett, Braden McGinnis from Columbia, Daniel Stewart from Tennessee Wesleyan, Miguel Oropeza from Talladega, and Charlie Muniz from the University of the Cumberlands, Kentucky. The winner of the 2025 Lou Brock Player of the Year Award presented by the Lou and Jackie Brock Foundation is Charlie Muniz, University of the Cumberlands, Kentucky. And what an incredible year it was for him. Hit 426 this season, 100 hits, 57 runs. He's a catcher. He's not going to score a lot of runs there on his own. 96 RBIs to lead the nation, 18 doubles, 1 triple, 36 home runs, led the nation in extra base hits with 55, and led not just this group by a mile, but the nation in total bases with 228. He had an isometric power rating of 544, which means he was a 54% of the time he was having an extra base hit. He had an on-base percentage of 516, as well as a slugging of 970 and an OPS of 1486. This guy had an incredible season, and he's a guy that you see and we will remember for a long time as the leader all-time in career home run record for the NAI, career hits, and I believe RBIs as well. Guys, this is a big-time award winner.
Yeah, big congratulations to Charlie here. This is the definition of probably one of the toughest outs in baseball at the NAI level. I mean, every time this guy was at the plate this year, I mean, you had a feeling that something was going to happen, whether he's leaving the yard or driving runs in. No matter what it was, he had an impact at the plate for the Patriots all year long, and it showed. Getting them all the way to Lewiston, and just performing day in and day out in that lineup. I mean, couldn't go to a better guy. Had a great season. I know the home run watch earlier in the year, which I know Taylor would love to say was reminiscent of the home run race back in the day when he was chasing Grabansky's record this year and then ultimately broke it. But I mean, just congratulations to Charlie. Like, one hell of a year again. I know he had a huge year last year and he caps it off with this season. Just big congratulations to Charlie on his fantastic year.
It really is. And I think we may have missed Alex Harrell in the first team list, but he's definitely here. I mean, he was a finalist for this award, so wanted to go back and cover that also in the All-NAIA Ball first team. But Charlie had an absolutely fantastic season. He put up numbers that we will likely never really see again at this level. It was just an incredible run. He finished his back-to-back years just 2 home runs shy of the all-time league single-season home run record. It is just incredible to see, and I know that it means a lot to him, his family, to the program. Connor, some thoughts on Charlie?
I mean, just, what an incredible year. Back-to-back Lou Brock Player of the Year awards. That's impressive itself, but first ever time to happen. So, I mean, just 100 hits in a season, 96 RBIs, 55 extra base hits. I mean, that's just one hell of a year. And like you said, 2 home runs shy of, would it be breaking the record, the single season?
They're tying the record.
So, I mean, we had our eyes on that all season. We would always text in our group chat saying, hey, is he going to break it? If he hits a few in the opening round and then gets to Lewiston, he might have a chance. But, just an incredible season and an incredible career by Charlie. I look forward to seeing what the future holds with him for baseball. So I'm excited to see that. But just an incredible year, incredible career for him. I mean, 72 home runs in 2 years. That's not bad. So, a face for the league, and huge congrats to Charlie. I mean, such a great accomplishment and an honor to receive this award.
He put up just some crazy numbers, 228 total bases on the year. He still scored 57 runs, and he's primarily a catcher. It's incredible. 36 of those 57 runs came on him hitting the ball over the fence. It's unprecedented. It's unheard of. It's very hard to win this award twice, to be Player of the Year back-to-back seasons, but he was able to do that, and rightly so. He deserves it. Guys, I mean, just as far as the award show goes, I think we definitely had a great showing and really good year overall as this officially closes out the NAIA Ball season.
Yeah, and I mean, what a year it was. I don't think any of us had a perfect season on the bingo card this year, but I mean, just looking back, it's probably some of my favorite moments this year. Obviously, the Cajun. Connor, I know that's always a good time. Robbie, I know we missed you again this year, but that's always a great time. A good preview for what we can expect down the stretch. And I mean, just what a year it was. I know we, obviously the first year without Dinkle at Southeastern, we had a lot of conversation before the year of, I always was a big believer in, I really don't know what the top 25 is going to look like. It's going to be so different. And I would argue it was fairly different than what we remember in years past. So an interesting year, a fun year, record-breaking year, a lot of achievements by coaches, a lot of milestones. I mean, just what a year it really was. And I mean, can't wait for next year. I mean, hopefully this offseason turns around quick, because this is always the best time of the year for us, is when we're pumping out content every single day of the week. But I mean, year 2 for me, couldn't be more thankful, couldn't be more grateful to be here and to speak with everyone who listens to me and Taylor yap for about 2 hours at times. Thank you to all for listening to us. I know it was probably painful at times, but super blessed to be here, super grateful for all the listeners, all the supporters. We do this for you. We do this to cover this level. This level does not get the recognition it very much deserves. So we are very grateful to be able to provide all of you with that.
Connor, some thoughts as we close out the year.
Yeah, just kind of, I'll hit on some points that Norris hit on. Incredible year by LSU Shreveport, going 59-0. I think we're gonna beat that until the cows come home. So, that's awesome. But we also hit some milestones on NAIA Ball too. We did numbers that I could only imagine from back in the day, and we had some breakout year on some stuff. A huge shout out to our sponsors, Netting Pros, the Show Me Collegiate League, and Urban Edge Network for coming on board this year and helping us in more ways than they could even imagine. So, this wouldn't be it helped everything. So thank you to them. Also, shout out to all of our interns, not only my design and content interns, but our interns that write the stories and help out Robbie and Taylor on that side of things. So huge shout out to them and huge thanks. It's been quite the incredible year, and we're always growing, we're always learning and figuring out what steps we can take to elevate this thing even more. So I'll enjoy the summer. Obviously we're not going to go dead silent, but we've got some content coming, some stuff I'm really excited for. But this summer will go quick, and next thing you know, we'll be pumping out some preseason All-Americans and All-NAIA Ball here before we know it.
There will be some changes next season, and when we're ready to get into that, we will talk a little bit more about that. But from my standpoint, I will be taking a step back. Now, some of you don't celebrate. I know in some places they're getting ready to pop champagne. Certain places.
Oh, man.
But I'm still going to be running the show from behind the scenes. It'll just won't be as upfront, and you can pop the champagne on this one. It won't be as vocal in other years. So we're going to make some changes. This is going to be a big positive, I think, for me and, for my family. So I don't know if I was frozen there for a little bit.
I was going to just let it ride.
Yeah, my camera was frozen for a little bit. Everything is positive. I can tell you that. And when I'm ready to tell you about those positive changes coming up, these guys know what it is. They've probably known actually longer than anyone. But when we're ready to talk about the changes coming that are great for me and my family, we'll dig into that and let you know when I'm ready. But right now, it's not the time. So with that, things will look a little bit different next year, but you have not gotten rid of me, and I will be back the year after. So do not enjoy your champagne too long. Do not hold the toast too high, because I'm coming back the year after in 2027. But for 2026, it'll be Connor, it'll be Tyler, it'll be Taylor, and we might even have some new additions. You never know what we'll do as we continue to grow.
We're always growing.
We're always growing here at NAI Ball. So with that, that will do it for us here tonight. I want to thank all of our sponsors again, Netting Pros, Show Me Collegiate League, which is going on right now, as well as the Urban Edge Network, you know, for being sponsors of this season. Also want to thank Taylor Thomas. He couldn't be here, but he is such a big part of this monster and really a huge part of what we do here at NAI Ball. Want to thank Tyler Norris for heading up the podcast and continuing to push the podcast forward. And of course, Connor does so much work behind the scenes and getting graphics out and keeping things organized and coming up with ideas that it is massive. So thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Connor, for all your work that you do with us here. Until next time, I'm Robbie Gutierrez. I'm the president of NAI Ball. It's been my pleasure to talk to you here tonight as we close out our 2025 season. Congratulations to everyone, whether or not you won an award, but on getting through the 2025 season. We are going to take a much needed break, but we'll be back all summer long with content. All of your news, stat scores, and information 24/7, 365 days a year can be found right here at NAI Ball. Until next time, we hope you have a great day and an even better tomorrow. We'll talk to you soon.